Good evening. Today is Wednesday, February 12th. It is 6:07 and I am calling this meeting to order. Let's see. Oh, Clara's jumping on now.
Okay. Meanwhile, do you want to have, I don't see her yet, but do you want to have, take a roll call, Miss Pahi?
Yep. So I called to order. So then the next item is roll call.
Okay. Dr. Reyes?
Here.
Gabriella Graham?
Here.
Linnell Pahi present.
And I'll keep watching the Oh, there she is. Let's go ahead and add Co-Chair Rayleigh to the board. To the panel, excuse me. And make sure you could call for her once she's here.
Hello, we just did roll call. Would you acknowledge that you're here, please?
Hi, Clara Rayleigh, co-chair, just joined at 6:07.
Perfect. The next item is our Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and wait, I forgot the Pledge of Allegiance.
Do you want me to lead?
Keep going.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sorry, I was in another meeting all day, so yeah. And then I drove an hour and a half to get to the little hotel. So anyway, we don't have a lot on our agenda today. We do need to approve the agenda and so would you please all take a look at that agenda? If you've looked at it previously, would you?
I motion to approve.
I second that.
Okay. And minute meetings were shared with us.
We have to vote, Christine.
Oh, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Sorry, Claire. Okay, so we have.
You're good, Christine, no problem.
And so do we have a vote to approve the minutes from the January 13th meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from January meeting.
I wasn't at the meeting, but I've read the minutes. I will second that vote.
Okay. We'll take a roll call now. Dr. Reyes?
Agree.
Gabriella Graham?
Yes.
Clara Rayleigh?
Yes.
Linnell Pahi, yes.
All right. Well, we are getting through our meeting. Our action points on the agenda are for our finance committee reports by Axiom Analytics. So Karen, if you would admit Josh, please.
Hello.
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. All right, let me share my screen. Can everyone see the check detail for January?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
So we'll hop into it. January was a bit of a catch-up month just because December had the holidays. So we have quite a bit of action here in regards to rent in particular. Rents in December and November hit January for both Telshore and Delray. And then also we have an early payment for February for the Delray property right at the end of the month, just so we meet that deadline of February 1st for that particular lease payments. Some other high dollar items are the regular food, Herrera Coaches, NIPSIA, um, and Access Communications, which has to do with the construction at the school for Wi-Fi. I do want to highlight two items here. One being Chalmers Ford. This is a van that has to do with the grant for the kitchen grant, which was approved in fall, as well as LE Electric, which is construction, just so the kitchen is ready to go. So these two items, LE Electric and Chalmers Ford, will be reimbursed. We're hoping to receive those reimbursements. They've been sent off for reimbursements, and we're waiting to hear back from them, and hopefully we'll get those in soon. So those will be essentially a wash and will not hit operating expenses. The rest of the disbursements for the month are pretty standard. One that we don't see very often, but we're very happy that it's paid off, is Clifton Larson Allen. Those are our auditors. We're finally done with that, and hopefully, we won't see that again until early fall. And I'm dreading that moment. So I'm seizing the day until then. Moving on to the ACH payments of retirement, and then a Mosaic payroll fee here at the bottom. And then, of course, we have our payroll distribution on the 15th and the 31st of around $316,000. So all in all, pretty high disbursement rate this month of around $1.2 million. Any questions about any of the items that are on the check detail that you all want to discuss?
I don't have any questions. Josh, any other questions about our ledger from the board? Okay, thank you, Josh.
Great. Okay, we'll move on to the reconciliation for January. The school had a pretty high balance. Again, there weren't that many distributions and disbursements in December, so the beginning balance of January was $652,067.32. We had disbursements that hit the bank of $1,089,687.03, and receipts of $840,192.46. All in all, the activity was a bit in the negative for the month of $249,494.57. And we did have a voided check in the amount of $1,751.25. So that was cleaned off the books, and the expected general ledger and general ledger both matched, which indicated that there were no JEs that were done in January, and the books exactly matched that of the GL and the expected GL. There's still outstanding payments of $160,733.71 that have yet to hit the bank as of the end of January. All in all, the ending balance of the school in January is $402,572.75. Any questions about the January bank reconciliation?
I don't believe so. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it's still a pretty healthy balance that I think is going to carry over for the rest of the year, knowing that the SEG is going to lower because of enrollment. So February to June, that's when we see the dip in SEG from the 40th day enrollment. So having a healthy balance around 402 could help us weather this storm a little bit to the end of the year.
Thank you. Okay. And there were no other reports, Josh?
No,
And we didn't have any,
we
go
do
ahead.
have some bars coming up, but I can't present those until we receive an award letter.
Right.
Unfortunately. So we're working on submitting our plan for one award letter in particular, but we should have that by next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Josh. So I appreciate you reiterating that although it looks like there was a negative balance, we actually have we are ahead for now. That is very reassuring when it comes to day-to-day finance. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Tony and the school have been working really hard to cut back expenses on anywhere that they really can. So having a pretty healthy balance moving forward for the rest of the year is only going to help the school and make sure that we're at least on the positive side of things by the end of the year.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Josh, just to clarify, like the financial outlook that was presented, you know, in when all of this is going down, really has largely not changed at this time, correct? Like we're kind of on the same trajectory, but really trying to cut down those expenses so that it's not, you know, as big of a blow when that SEG payment goes lower, correct?
Exactly. We anticipated the SEG payment to hit when it is going to hit, and we saw that when we presented the forecast in November. So really not a lot has changed since that has been presented for, end of the year numbers. But things do fluctuate as we progress towards the end of the year, and I'll be sure to, update the board obviously if those things are swinging one way or the other. But as far as what was presented last when we looked at the forecast, not much has changed since then.
Thank you.
Josh. Good question, Clara, or clarification.
I like that clarification. Don't tell
Clarif-
me you have not heard that before.
Clara, if it can. We need a vote for the reports, yeah?
Yes, ma'am. I'll motion to approve.
I'll second that. We'll take a vote. Dr. Rios,
I approve.
Clara Rowley,
Yes.
Gabriella Graham,
Yes.
Linnell Parsons, yes. Motion passes.
Thank you, John. I'll send you
Thank
off
you.
into cyberspace.
Bye.
All right. Dr. Hall, you're up with our school leader report.
Excellent. Thank you for the time. Karen, do you mind sharing it just because my computer is, slow. I'd love that.
What am I sharing?
I put the link on my school leader report on the agenda. If you could share it.
Oh,
that'd be
thank you.
awesome.
I didn't realize
You're
that.
welcome.
So I will go get it. Hold on.
A lot of things to share, but I'm going to be short and sweet.
Okay. Here we
Excellent,
go.
excellent.
I think this one. Move this over. Oops, sorry.
There we go. All right.
Slideshow.
So thank you again, board, for the time today. And let me see. You can go to the next slide.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know why mine looks just huge on here. All right, here we go. So let me give you some updates on some things and then share some celebrations. That's what I would like to do for tonight. So enrollment and marketing, we are in the marketing time and the enrollment time. So the application, if you remember, opened on December 1st. So it's obviously open until we do the lottery, which is going to be March 18th. Information sessions are going. So we've already been going with those, and also they're scheduled out for the rest of the school year as well. As of February 2nd, we had 152 applications, so our rate is very good. And the nice thing is we, already now have our base of students. So we won't have to, like, if you remember last summer, we had to, um, you know, have many, many more applications. But we're doing really well when it comes to our rate of application. And I do want to share this, which I'm really proud of. So the intent to return is the students that are already at our school, and they have to tell us by the 28th whether or not they're definitely coming back, whether they're undecided about coming back, or whether they're transferring to a high school or another school. Most of the time, it's a high school, traditional high school, larger high school. But take a look at these numbers. We haven't gotten them all back, but we got over I think almost 400 of them back. 91% definitely are returning, which I think that says a lot about what we're doing. And 3% definitely are transferring, and 6% are on the fence. They have to decide by the 28th. And we've informed parents about that. And otherwise, they go into the lottery, into the application lottery situation. So, but I'm really proud of that number. 91% of the intent to return forms are definitely, that says a lot about what we're doing. All right, next slide.
Sorry. What?
That's okay. You're good.
Is this it?
All right. So our monthly town hall meetings have been great. So we actually made them a little bit more, I think more easy. It's like more instead of just a one-way communication, it's a back and forth type of communication, which really is a town hall because we want to hear from our families. So the last town hall we had was about the house system. I did put a link on here to the presentation, and you guys can check it out. But really, we shared about where we're going with the school culture piece and the positive behavior supports, and that's our house system. And kids are excited. We've done surveys with kids. It's We also have a house club now, and so we have student leaders that are helping us shape this vision for the house system. Because I think, as I've said before a few times, I've implemented the house system in a variety of schools and helped other schools do it, but it always looks different. So the exciting thing is we tell our kids, what is it going to look like at Explore Academy Las Cruces? That's what we want to know. So if you want to check out the house system slide deck, you can. But I'll talk a little bit more about it on the next slide. But I do want to say February. So for everyone watching this meeting tonight, we're going to focus on tools for parents and communication. So we definitely take your feedback, and we want to ramp up our communication. I have some logos here. We have the Stop It app, which is a tool for parents and students. We have the Google Classroom app, which is, again, a tool for parents and students. And then Power School, of course, which is where parents and families would check grades and students as well. So, these are just 3 of the tools that we're going to talk about and make sure parents are able to get in. So it's kind of like a little working session. But also, I want to talk a little bit more about progress reports and really how to get the most from those progress reports and what to do if you don't get a progress report, which you would get them. It's just if a teacher didn't send one for some reason, what's the next step? Because we want to support families in getting the information they need. So it's going to be about communication. And I will be starting up live conversations on Facebook and /YouTube because I've been asked about when that will start again. And definitely this is the time of the year, especially as we are getting the word out about the amazing things we're doing. So if you want to know more about that, come to our town hall meeting. And I of course didn't put the date, but it's going to be in the newsletter, and it's usually the last Thursday of the month. That's usually when it is. So that would be the 27th, I believe. All right. The next thing that really we're ramping up on, and because we have 11th graders that are going to be seniors next year, which is super exciting. We have 10 11th graders that are returning, 10 of the 11. And and we also have our 10th graders moving up to 11th. And so we have a memorandum of understanding with DACC/NMSU. They're one and the same, really. DACC is under the umbrella of NMSU. But for Explore Academy Las Cruces, students must take at least one dual credit course. But we learned today, meeting with DACC and MSU representatives, that they can take 2 a semester. So if kids are ahead, they can take up to 2 dual credit courses each semester. So that's pretty exciting. March 7th, we already planned an info session for students, and I think we can invite some parents too. It's just a general info session where they'll get the forms and things. And then in April, the academic advisors will come from the college to work with the students on how to apply, because they apply, they get an Aggie ID, which that's really cool, because as a Aggie alumni, I think that's awesome to get your Aggie ID, and like you're already on the road to college, which is part of our model. We're a college preparatory school, so like this is amazing, and they have a bunch of different choices. A lot of them are electives, but it's just to get them in the college realm. And what does it feel like to be a college student and take college level classes, which I feel like we're doing a great job of getting them ready, because we at high school only give A's, B's, and F's. So when the advisor said you have to get at least a C minus, I'm like, well, of course, because we don't even give C's in high school. So so our kids know that, but I think they're excited about it. And I got to just give a shout out to amazing registrar, Michelle Unger, who like she will do these info sessions with kids, talk with them one-on-one. It's going to be great. And we're just super excited to see what our kids choose. And so dual credit is up and running. And so the first group of dual credit will be in the fall, because they don't offer dual credit in the summer for some reason. But, all right. So that's the dual credit update. More to come. So parents, stay tuned. We'll get that information to you. I did want to put a slide in here about houses, just because if you weren't at the town hall, I just wanted just to kind of present this to share. And I know I've talked a little bit more about it, but I feel like this is the most impactful when we talk about when we do things, why do we do them? Oh, Clara, do you want to ask a question first? I'm sorry, I just saw the hand.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to, so I know dual credit is new, like we're in year 4, this is all new. It is
Right.
part of the strategic plan then with you and your admin team to really start to have, sorry, my brain just farted just a little bit, sorry. Have intentional pathways that lead to dual credit, so that we're really looking more at that, you know, maybe not early child high school kind of viewpoint, but at least building intentional pathways where they're able to take multiple dual credit classes that might lead to a certificate, or, you know, towards their degree, or whatever that looks like. Is that kind of like the future that we're hoping for with this dual credit?
Yes, and then of course that's going to have to just be dependent on our enrollment too, and how many teachers we can have, and how we can offer these things. Because if we need, yeah, it's just we'd like to do that. It's just right now, like some of our majors, we're just getting into doing those, and the higher level major classes. It'd be great if you went from a major class at Explore with a teacher at Explore to a dual credit that becomes, like, say you do veterinary science or whatever it might be, or forensics, and then you go into the next level at the college. So
Absolutely.
I definitely, I definitely think it's really impacted by what we can offer as the majors level. And so right now it's limited because we're so small at the upper
Absolutely.
end. But yeah, definitely, for sure, that's what we want. And wouldn't it be great if they could graduate from Explore with a associates or something like
Okay.
that? And
Great.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just wondering that if that was like the plan, is to kind of have these intentional connections at both the school level that then connect to that dual credit to make it really where they're potentially completing something. And
For sure.
yeah,
And
you
I
have
don't
to
think
understand that this is the world that I live in.
Yeah.
So that
No,
was
no, no, I get
why
it.
that question came up.
But if we are a college prep, wouldn't it be great to prep and have go into college with those credits? And actually, part of this program we talked with DACC today is that certain courses, they will advise them to take certain courses that will then transfer to their college level programming. Some transfer more intentionally than others. And so I think every student will graduate with an associate's? I don't know. It depends on what fits that student. So some students maybe just do their one course and then they do something else, graduate on their with their Explore majors, and they have pathways in the majors too with Explore, being able to complete like a certain pathway within your majors at Explore. And so
Yeah.
it
And
depends on the
certificates
student, but
are
we want to
really,
offer. Yeah.
yeah, I was just going to say certificates are all, I mean, an associate's degree is great, like that kind of early college, high school realm, but like if DACC in any way could also provide certificates at that point and be able to show, those students that maybe aren't college bound, being able to get some type of certificate while they're in high school is so powerful.
Right, even like a first aid, first responder, or EMT, or those kinds of things for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we want to build. It's just I'm the kind of person that's impatient. It's like, let's do it now, but like we have to build it so that we can um, have those things in place. So right now, yeah, it's just because we have such few at the upper grade. But yeah, definitely, we don't want to limit our kids. We want our kids, if they're ready for the next thing, let them do it at Explore while they're in high school.
Clara,
Sure.
there's a lot of
Mhm.
certificates that actually they offer through DACC,
Yeah.
even and to include like if they're into any of the trades like auto mechanics or welding,
Yep.
the culinary, any of those, they can actually get credit for those and get certificates for those.
Yeah, that's kind
Awesome.
of that. Yeah, that was that sorry, my brain is, it's been it's only Wednesday and it's been a really long week. But yeah, just any of those types of offerings. And again, I know that we're only in year, are we in year 5? We're only in year
4.
4. Okay, we're only in year 4, so I mean, this is we're still in startup mode. But yeah, I would love to see if we could build that out and really make sure that our students get those opportunities both at the school level, and then if they're graduating with a cert or well on their way to an associate's degree. I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think certificates is probably the first step because it takes longer to get like the associates. But yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that we want to do that for sure. We don't want to hold them back. We want them to go for what they're ready for.
Yeah, and if you need any assistance with that, let me know.
Okay, will do. All right, let me see. I think I have, let's see, one more. No, maybe one more. Oh yeah. Oh, I was talking about houses. So just some reasons why we are looking at implementing a house system, really to build school culture in smaller groups. When we did a survey, we asked them at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year. They're very excited. There's a very sliver that's just like, I don't know about this, like 8%, but it's because it's the unknown, and with anything. But it really will help build relationships, earn incentives, connect us to others, but also connect the 2 campuses, which is one of the areas that really we need to do more of. And so how do we connect our 2 campuses? And it would be this way. So this is going to happen probably around spring break. Again, we waited because we heard from the teachers they needed more time, and we really felt like we wanted to do more teaching and do it right. So, all right. So some celebrations. We definitely had a great school choice fair. I'm going to jump to the second one. That's a picture of us, and also Miss Gutierrez was there, but I don't know, she escaped the picture. But we were at the school choice fair February 1st, and that was awesome. It was over at the convention center, and it was a variety of schools, online, private, all these kinds of schools. So not just charter schools, but we had kids coming up. We had teachers working with the kids. So thanks to Mr. Aragon, Miss Zamora, and Miss Bruno and Miss Gutierrez, who's not in the picture, and of course Mr. Gomez and Mr. Zapata. So we were all there. The whole team was there, and it was just great to interact with families, to see that there is a large group of families in Las Cruces that are looking for a school choice. And so it was really exciting and fun. And then I want to end with this because it was an amazing site visit last week. Thank you to the board for being a part of it and being a part of the focus group for the site visit. The Charter School Division, that's CSD, is the Charter School Division, for anyone watching that's wondering what that is. Each year, Charter School Division comes and does a site visit of our school and then rates us on indicators. And so we don't yet have that report yet because some things need to wait for the end of the year. But they just said it was an amazing visit, and that we had like no follow-ups, which is really good, because usually if there's a follow-up, there's something that we have to either look into or answer to. And so that's awesome. And just thanks to everybody. They had a student group, they had a teacher group, and yeah, so, and then we got debriefed at the end, and it was just great to showcase both campuses. And they spent a day at Telshore and a day at Delray, and yeah, they had a great school visit. So I feel like that really speaks to the work that every day our teachers, they saw great teaching and learning happening in the classrooms. So kudos to our teachers and kudos to our support staff. I mean, everyone is working very hard, and I was super happy. And kudos to our kids. The high school kids didn't want to talk as much as the little ones. That's what they told me. But yeah, so that's why we do a lot of focus groups at the school. Mr. Zapata and I have a little club, and so we're always welcoming input and doing little focus groups with them as well. But yeah, it was just great to see them talking with our kids and going into a whole bunch of classrooms, and just seeing the amazing things that are going on. And yeah, we know we can be better. We can always be better. But it was nice to get a little bit of kudos, because I see how hard everybody works. And thank you guys for supporting us. Appreciate it. And that's it. That's my whole report. I'll stand for any questions. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Can I just add, because Dr. Hull won't share, but at the exit interview, there actually was a comment made that this is one of the cleanest reports they've been to recently in terms of the school being not having some things to correct right away. So kudos to you and your team, Dr. Hull.
Thank you. Okay, let's go. So back to the agenda. Sorry, I lost my agenda.
We are on to the ELS reports.
That's what I thought we were at. Okay.
So I'm going to bring my boss, Director of Operations, Alicia Bayardo, in with me. But I'm going to kind of just give a high-level overview summary of the reports, the quarterly report. So I'm trying to promote Alicia. There she is. So I'm going to share my screen and just kind of go through high level. Hi, Alicia. Does everybody know Alicia?
Yeah.
No. So Alicia Bayardo, Director of Operations, and for the Explore Learning Systems team, and my boss. And here we have Dr. Reyes and Clara Rayleigh. I think you've met before, but Dr. Reyes is our new co-chair with co-chair Rayleigh. And I think you've met Gabriella Graham before because she's been on the board for a while. And Linnell Pocky is a fairly new board member. She's a parent at the school, and you know Dr. Hull. So introductions done. So most of this is a high-level overview, mostly, oops, let me get my share screen done. Connected here, it's not working. This one, share, okay. Cool. Most of this is just a high-level overview of some of the, particularly around instruction and curricular areas, explore model. So I'm just going to go through. Please stop me if you want to spend any time on any particular area. But this starts with our feedback scoring for our elementary teachers. And this is done by the principal and our instructional coach and curriculum instruction folks about scoring teachers and how they're performing in the classroom. Overall, pretty good. As you know, this is the first year for our teachers at the elementary level in this model. And so, you know, we're not at highly exceptional yet, but doing well, overall performing well. Student achievement on report card data for Q1 and Q2. This is elementary again, you know, the humanities for your English, language arts, and social studies, STEM for math and science. You have your scores for Q1 and Q2. So you see that they're actually grown a little bit. So good deal.
And these are
proficiency
actually-
rates broken
sorry,
down more specific?
These are actually not characteristic for a first year elementary. Like they are very high for a first year elementary. It's good to note that. These are generally what you'd see in like years 3 and 4 of an elementary school. So they're doing a really, really good job, both teaching and with proficiency for a school that, because they went 5th last year, but full K-5 in the for their first year, it's pretty phenomenal to see.
And then they've broken it down by grade level, so you can see for a deeper dive into, what are they doing by grade level in humanities and STEM. And you can see, for example, we did have a little bit of a dip in 2nd grade here, but overall, really good, as Alicia said, really good proficiency rates in both their AM and PM classes. We have as you know, the parent, now we're switching, this is middle high school. So parent feedback survey, and you can see what parents said in Q1 and Q2 in terms of these topics, all pretty strong. A little bit of school communication issue here, but not significant, but nevertheless something to note. But overall, strong positive feedback from parents. This is also a similar parent feedback survey showing Q1. The bold colors are areas of strength as identified by the parents, and then the lighter colors are where areas that parents felt need attention. Sometimes those are equal. It's like kind of funny, right? But mostly you can see that they're mostly, hasn't changed much here in school administration, although this dipped a little, so that's good. They're saying less needs improvement. But you can see the flavor teaching really strong. They're liking the flavors. Qualified teachers are strong. You can see we have some mixed opinions about safety and student community. Academic support strong, transportation strong. So as I said, communication remains an area where we've seen some improvement, as is same with student safety.
Christine has
performance?
her hand up, Karen. Just
Oh,
wanted to, I
sorry,
know you're
thank
looking
you.
at another screen, so I just wanted
I
to let you know.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for
sorry.
that.
I should have said, excuse me. So do you know how many parents actually completed the survey compared to the number of kids that are in the school? So sometimes survey data, it shows basically opinions in this case. And if we don't know how many people filled out the survey, then it doesn't tell us, like, when that's 100%, 100% of what number felt that way. And so sometimes the data it shows great graphics, but it doesn't really tell us the real picture unless we know how many people actually took the survey.
Yeah, and I don't have an answer for that, Alicia. I don't know if you do, but we could certainly get that information and share it with
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
I don't.
I can look it up. I will look it up and see if I can drill down to it, to what Clint has compiled. Clint's our data guy. For future reports though, I will just start adding the N. I will say that we never report if it's less than 20 responses, because it's just not valid.
Right, it's not
20,
statistically relevant.
even so, 25 is very different than 150. So I will make a note to add that to every report moving forward, for parent and I won't do it for teacher, just because if we don't get a good response for the teachers, we don't report it. But I'll start adding it for the parent one, just because I do think that that's really important. We do the same with the student one. Like when we send it back to teachers, if they only had 3 people fill it out, number one, we tell them, why didn't you give this to your kids? But number 2, you can't go off 3 kids when you're seeing several class periods a day of 16 kids. So I will see if I can find it before the end of the meeting for you, but moving forward, I will just start adding that, because I do think statistically it does help to know the N on that.
Yeah, thank you. Because it's kind of like rate your professor, right? Only the people who hated the professor actually put it in there. So,
yes.
So it would be really good data to know how many of our parents are actually participating in the surveys. That's really where I was going. Like, how many of them are actually involved in reporting the data, so that we know that parents are engaged and involved in our school. That was really where I was going with that.
Yeah, and it's also years ago we used to do this where it was just like you rated areas, right? Like that's the way it used to be. And the negative influence, because it's the same for a lot of reviews, people who are like super happy or like I ignore it. I mean, I'm even guilty of this. Like my kids literally attend an Explorer, and I don't remember the last time I filled out the survey, and that sounds awful to say in a recorded public meeting. I'm so sorry, admin of Albuquerque, but years ago we changed it where they had to say where are areas of improvement and where are areas of strength. That way, even though they might just be angry, they still had to go through and say, well, what areas do I think are great? So that did help a little bit from the data being so skewed, but I will try to find, let me try to find that for you, but I'll start adding it because I love it. I think it's important to know what the N is.
Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you.
So then on the next section here is about teacher performance at the middle and high school level. And I want to comment that this is from observations and student surveys, combined data. But as you can see, we have an increased amount of teachers scoring in the proficient or exceptional area. But we also have a little bit of an increase in people in the lowest tier here in terms of teacher performance. So some work to be done in professional development and instructional coach and so forth. But this would be a strong area of focus for the next quarter, I think, to just make sure we get our teacher skills improved. This slide was shared by Dr. Hall last meeting, so I'm not going to spend much time on it, but just showing how the seminar mastery rate mostly all increased, a little dip in the math overall, a larger dip in social studies, but it was really high in first quarter. So pretty good in terms of the mastery at the middle school. And then at the high school, I remember talking about this. If you weren't there, don't remember. Dr. Hull spoke about term 2 is when they moved, so they're not surprised by that dip. And then, came up at 3, and then I remember her speaking about term 4. The assessments were after the break, so not surprised. We usually have a dip after the break anyway, but this was also further compounded by the fact that the term, because of our start date, crossed across the winter break. So, but that's why data is important, right? To look at what the trends are and do we have a reason for what's happening there. So that was discussed last meeting. Again, here's another, this now is the secondary school, right, Alicia? The other one was the elementary. Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh,
So
sorry,
on
I
this
was
one,
muted. Yes, that's secondary.
thank you. So on this one, similarly, as we saw before, the bold lines are where they said there was areas of strength. And then the lighter lines are folks that said there were needs of improvement. So again, you can see flavor is a hit overall. Some think it needs some improvement, but overall, a very positive opinion about flavor. Food service, being able to get student information about the kiddo, qualified teachers, mixed reviews on some of these others, but clearly some areas to focus in on. And they feel, some things have gotten, they need more attention for the next quarter.
So I did find an answer for that, and then just a couple frames of reference. So about 50 families filled out the survey. So a good recommendation moving forward for Dr. Hull and also for Mr. Gomez would be to send standalone messages to parents when the quarterly survey's out. Try to really encourage them, send a remind, like do what you can to get them to fill it out. But one of the things that we notice in charter schools, period, not just ours, at every charter, is extracurriculars always tends to be something that is low. It's just something that tends to happen. So we battle that the best we can with dances and spirit weeks and different things, but ultimately we cannot compete with the 2,000 person high school when it comes to extracurriculars. So that's one that it doesn't matter how hard we've tried, even in other charters that have been open 15, 20 years, they still struggle with extracurriculars, just the nature of the beast. But yeah, for the N, being at 50 with the population size that is, exists across both campuses, we probably want to push real hard for quarter 3 to try to get more responses. But yeah, I was at about 50.
Okay. Update on the sublease, or what has been referred to as a loan, quote unquote. The outdoor space, the perimeter fencing is complete. The playground equipment, very exciting. Dr. Hull reported last month that the equipment was due to be delivered. It has been delivered. Landscaping is pending, depending on the completion of the playground installation. Our network infrastructure, student furniture, technology, signage, all of those things that were listed on that agreement have been completed otherwise. Also, there's a lot of talk about the facility finance for Delray and refinance for Telshore. There's some ongoing discussions and negotiations, and so that's still pending, but will be.
I can give a small update on that, actually.
Okay.
I was able to actually get that like right before the meeting. So
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that everybody was kind of on the same page with where we're at, and that's moving forward. Right now, it's my understanding that, sorry, let me make sure that I have all of this correctly. So there's the TEFRA hearing, which is an IRS requirement, and that's still scheduled for next week. And so that's, you know, on track. And so the school is trying to do the refinancing of Telshore as quickly as possible. At this time, as far as the board is aware, and of course there might be some other information out there, the owner of the Delray property has not given any terms yet on being able to get out of our lease or what that purchase would look like, but that's about where we're at right now. So it's still moving forward. Like, we're still positive that it's going to be happening. We're still just waiting for some more information, but like you said, there's other conversations happening outside of us, because there's a big team that's working on this process, and so that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, lots of folks in that, lots of lawyers.
A lot of legalese happening and being thrown around. Yep.
Okay, moving on. Enrollment projections. You can see the blue line was last year's application rate, and the dark red line is currently. So maybe a little dip here or there, but a little bit lower than last year, but very close and on target for the same trajectory of reaching about 700 applications by, I guess that would be July or August, I guess by August, because here's July. So that's the enrollment application tracking. A little bit more description there if you wanted to see. This is the percent of applications by grade level. You can see last year's the percentage versus this year. And so this year's the first column, right? This year is the kind of greenish color. So lots of 6th grade and kindergarten, which is always good. But you can see the difference in terms of percentage at this point. Of course, the red line or magenta, whatever color that is, for last year is percentage of all applications that were received throughout the whole time. And the ones for this year obviously are only thus far, so that could change. And then, as you probably already know from Dr. Hall's reports, but as was reported in Q1, there's a strong effort to build and establish student community, and of course, the long-awaited implementation of the house system that's really going to be a large part of the community, significantly will contribute to positive community building, which is Dr. Hull's forte. So with that, that's the end of that report, unless anyone has questions for Ms. Bayardo or me. Okay,
I do not have any questions. Yep. Thanks, Karen.
Hearing any questions. The next thing on the agenda is just a monthly update I wanted to share with you all. We have been providing, at first it was weekly, but that got a little onerous. Weekly reports to the head administrator about what the team of ELS folks are working on. We recently switched to monthly, so a bit more manageable, and I think Dr. Hull doesn't really want it every week. So a monthly report of what we're doing. And that's what I've attached on the agenda. I would like to do that going forward and ask the board if you ever have any questions about anything that we're working on or would like someone to come to a meeting. I'll send those out when Dr. Hull gets them at the start of every month going forward. And if you have questions or would like someone to come to the next meeting, just let me know. Anybody on the team or anything in particular that you would like more information on, be happy to arrange that. Of course, you can always bring questions whether you ask for somebody to come or not. I just don't know if I can answer them if I'm not the person that, but I can arrange to have the person from our team that covered that. So you'll see that it's broken down by all the different areas on our team and what things we're working on for the month or have been finishing up. And welcome you to look that over and let me know if you have questions, whether it's tonight or next month or whatever.
Yeah, or if there's ever something that you want included that maybe we don't, because we're just guessing, right? Like what, because these are kind of geared to make sure that Dr. Hull and her team also know. And that way, if they know of something that, oh, well, did that slip off someone's radar? They would be able to tell it slipped off somebody's radar or they want to add it to our radar. But if there's ever anything specific that you guys want reported out monthly for you, just let me or Karen know and we can make sure that it's there. It just depends on what, a lot of the updates depend on the time of year and who's got what on their plate. But if there's ever anything specific that you just are like, no, I'd really like to know how that's going or what is happening with this as far as anything that we work on, just let us know. We can definitely add it. And like she said, anybody can come to the meetings as long as they know in advance, like, hey, that meeting that they want to hear from IT, they want to hear from food service about something. Yeah, we'll just have them show up and make sure that they can explain stuff in depth if you guys have questions. But we're open to changing reports or changing kind of updates to match what you want to see. We just got to know what that is. So if there's ever a question or you want more or less of something, just let me know and then we'll make sure to make that adjustment for you.
And Co-Chair Rayleigh has a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, and y'all might not know this, so we can certainly get in touch with, I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name of the marketing person off the top of my head. Okay, yeah. The total applications at the end of January, is that just the small form that we post? Is that what we're kind of considering applications on this particular update? Okay.
Yeah.
But not,
yeah, because they have to, for the purposes of the lottery, to make sure that we're complying with law, all the applications have to be done in a very specific way in New Mexico for charter schools. So like we're not allowed, which is frustrating, we're not allowed to say like, how'd you hear about us or anything that might dissuade people from finishing the application. So it's extremely basic, like name, grade level, how do we contact you? Like that's it. So that form is the one that we look at as far as counting them as applications. And so that's what is listed on the like by grade level on the report and the little trajectory line. And the next month it'll be a little bit more telling because right now what it's doing is if you look at that graph, it's like, you know, pretend this is my graph. I know I'm very high tech here. It's got this tiny bit of data and it's using a formula to try to extrapolate the forward movement for that, like where it's going to end up. So every month it gets a little bit more accurate because it's got more data to work off of. But the trend for kinder and sixth being higher is what we were really hoping to see. So that's the thing we're really happy about, because if you have a lot of other grade applications, very few seats are open in those grades. And so it's not going to actually result in enrollments, but kinder and sixth are going to have a lot of openings. And that's the ones we really we're like excited about. So yeah, that little bitty part that's like a squiggly dark line on the graph, that's actual numbers. The lighter one that moves forward, that's extrapolating formulaically to figure out where is this trend line headed. So next month we'll have a better idea, but I think after next month, the lottery will have happened as well. So after that, it's all wait list and letting people in to grades based on what's still open.
Okay, and we make sure too that document, because you know, being that it is so you know, easy to fill out, sometimes of course you get like duplicates. So we're making sure that 169 is unique applicants, yes. Correct? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Miss Pride Katia, she goes through and she'll pull out duplicates, and a lot of times there's like it's wild what gets put in there. There's times where somebody will put the wrong spelling of a last name, so then they put in another one, and then we find out another one further down that has a different grade level. So then sometimes there's like 5 applications, and then she has to contact the parent and say, can I get the correct one? And then she has to go through and delete the ones that are incorrect. And so that happens a lot. So yeah, she's pretty careful about that. There's always going to be some that slip through. For example, this happens every year without fail at every charter ever. Somebody puts their own application in, like Alicia Bayardo applies for 2nd grade. And then later on, they realize, oh, I'm getting emails that say my name. So then they go put their kid's name. And so it doesn't pop as a duplicate because it is 2 different names. And we end up figuring it out later on that it's a parent. So we try to go look at parent names and student names and try to fix that. But man, it gets wild in there. But yeah, before we do your monthly report, we try to go through all the duplicates or all the mistaken grade levels and fix those.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I'm just gonna, if there are no other questions, Alicia, you're certainly welcome to stay or head on out, I guess, if it's up to you. I'm gonna go on to the general updates and reminders, if that's okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alicia, do you want to hang
All right.
out or do you want me to send you back in cyberspace?
I can hang out for the updates and then you can send me back just in case they
Okay,
need me.
sure. Thanks. So I was going to talk about the site visit. Dr. Hull already shared that with you, but very, very positive exit interview for the site visit. They were very, we're not able to, as I mentioned earlier, mention what a great visit it was and really enjoyed seeing both campuses. They liked doing 2 days, so they didn't feel rushed and they got to see a lot of things in action. They did stress, of course, and I just want to share with you that the primary reason for the visit is for them to see the mission and education program in action. And that's why they spend so much time in classrooms and talking to folks. But they also looked at student files and staff files and some other things. But they don't rate those until the end of the year because if something should go awry, they don't want to give us a meets and we still have half a year yet that could have some issues. So, but very, very, very positive feedback at the exit interview. So again, kudos. I did want to talk a little bit about the school year 24 annual report, which we've talked about the last at least 2 meetings. Reminder that we got a letter from the PEC to come to the February 21st PEC meeting for our business manager. So Katie is going to handle that from Axiom to speak about the audit finding ratings and what we've done to address those and work to improve in those areas because as you know, the 2 finance ratings were a does not meet based on audit findings. So Katie has provided a presentation, a couple slides that she's going to share. She's going to be participating remotely. Again, the PEC, as I've mentioned to you before, of course, Dr. Hull will join virtually and it would be great if at least one board member could also be there because it matters to the PEC that we have representation from the leadership and from the board. And that again is Friday the 21st. As you know, I don't yet have the agenda till the Friday before, so I don't really know where it will fall on the timeline and I can kind of guesstimate and send out a text when we get close so that Dr. Hull's not wasting her time sitting at the computer nor any of you. Because I like to listen to what's going on because it usually has all kinds of compliance related things. So happy to do that. We did get a verbal response from the CESD, or actually I asked at the end of the exit interview about the 3rd indicator, which you may recall was the facilities one, and that we argued about that should not have been a does not meet. And since the fire inspector didn't have the same issue that the CSD team did, and that the playground, since when did they start rating playgrounds on CSD visits? They agreed to take out the the playground issue, but they said that the fire safety issue was going to remain. It was going to remain a does not meet. So that was a verbal response. We do need to follow up. I tried to call the fire inspector so we can get something actually in writing from him about the visit that he did in the spring. Their argument was that we didn't alert them that the doors, if you recall, the doors we already had that project plan to have fobs and panic hardware installed on all the doors in that building. And that happened in May, but we didn't tell the CSD until August. And I said, well, I didn't tell till August because nobody asked me until August. And I answered, I checked into it and answered. But they have this rubric of like how many days after the visit you have to notify them or something. But of course, as you recall, um, I think some things went to Karen after she had left. Tony wasn't getting stuff from CSD. It may have gone to a board member, but I don't. Anyway, regardless, I think it's not only unfair, but then it also means that 3 does not meet gives us a does not meet overall. And what I told them at the site visit was that this is not a does not meet school. I have visited every state charter school in this state, and I can tell you which ones do not meet organizationally. And this school is not one of those. So I think at the bottom line is that we may not get that changed. But if I can get, basically, I understood that if I could get a statement from the fire inspector, they may consider changing it. So we haven't gotten anything formal response, but that was the verbal response from Deputy Director Russell at the end of the exit interview. So I just wanted you to be aware. The PEC did not ask us to address that at the meeting. So the only thing we'll be addressing at the meeting is the financial findings. Power School data breach, I think I've kept you updated on that, but someone had asked about the communications that were sent out to staff and families. So I've added those on the agenda with links for you to see. But I think I shared last month that Power School has agreed to do credit monitoring for teachers and identity protection for students. So that's all gone out, and basically the school's piece of that is finished. Now it's up to staff and families to sign up per the instructions in the communication number 3. And then, of course, the standing link to board policies. I was going to ask on co-chairs if maybe we could find a time to meet and kind of outline which board policies you'd like in what order reviewed in the next upcoming months, and so that we can have a schedule so that folks have time to read the appropriate ones in advance. I kept one that's a 1-pager for tonight under governing council business, but one other point I meant to make when I was talking about the site visit, you do know this is year 4, so next year is year 5, which means your renewal is due next year for the charter contract renewal. And I was told that they will start the training for the renewal application in March. I don't have a date yet, but they do want representatives from the school to attend that training to learn how to complete the renewal application that is due in the fall. And so I will send that out because I think it's going to start before our next meeting, but I don't have the actual dates and times. They are held virtually. I have a lot of experience doing these renewal applications and plan to attend, but they don't really like to just see my face there. So if someone from the school is able, and this particularly the board, again, because the contract is with the board, they're particularly interested in having somebody attend those if you're able. And I'll be sharing that out via email because I don't have the information yet. And that completes my section. You're muted, Dr. Reyes.
I figured that. I had a document over the top of it. Thank you for that report. Are there any questions about any of the report that Karen or Alicia shared with us? No? Okay. We do not have a closed session. Wait, where are we? These are governing council business.
Karen, you have the contract requirements for new hires. Were there any changes to that, or was that just one of the policies that we were going to be going over today to approve?
I do have a minor. I don't know that you've ever actually approved it formally as a policy. It's been our best practices, and we've been doing this, but I am asking schools to review it because there are some sections that are up to the board, if you will. And most of this is coming from the New Mexico Public Education Department Teacher Cost Index, which I learned last year. You may recall, those of you who were around last year, we had a teacher cost index audit at Las Cruces. And from that, we learned a lot of things. So I would like to have this policy. The only thing I've changed really is that, and this came up because we were requiring transcripts from everyone. But I was very frustrated by that because a level 1 or level 2 teacher must have a bachelor's degree. Why do I need their bachelor's transcripts? A level 3 must have a master's degree. Why do I need their master's transcripts? What we do need is anything above that, because as you recall, your salary schedule has not only level of licensure, but then it has, bachelor's plus 15, plus 30, plus 45. If you want to give them credit for their education beyond the degree, we do need the transcripts to confirm that. So I wanted to change this to, beyond the bachelor's, or beyond or here beyond what is required for the license issued. Maybe that's what I want to put here. So that we don't have to have people send us a bachelor's transcript or a master's transcript when that's already required for the license they're providing to us. That's the only change really in here from what we've been doing. And I just made a little footnote as to where this requirement comes out of the Teacher Cost Index Manual. These things in yellow are in fact things that you could change, but it's been sort of a standard practice. So I think the board did vote last year on this one.
And
You
is
take
it a
100
requirement that it has to be an official transcript? I mean, I know that they're only like $10, but still like they cost money. So I don't know if that's a consideration, that it could be an official, unofficial transcript. You know how you can get those. I just wanted to know if that's a requirement.
The PED teacher cost index, it used to be a very hard and fast requirement that it had to have official transcripts for everyone, which was annoying. But PED has relaxed that a little bit. They haven't said official, but the problem with unofficial transcripts is they may or may not have been doctored, and it's
Yeah,
hard
it
to
doesn't
verify.
confer the degree when it's an unofficial transcript.
I don't know if it does or doesn't, but you certainly could consider that. I would not recommend that, but because it's for them to provide it for $10, they're going to get an increase in pay.
For sure.
I'm
No,
not-
I was just
yeah.
wondering if that was the requirement or not. It should say the degree on it, but yeah, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to know. I have nothing against official. I just wanted to know.
But I'm proposing that we only require it if they have anything beyond a bachelor's degree for level 1 and 2 teachers, and beyond a master's degree for level 3.
Yeah,
because
for
the
the
fact that they
steps.
have that license
Yeah.
indicates they have the degree.
Yep.
And then the years of service is required, verified from the prior employer, etc. Teaching experience requirements are very much outlined in that document. Educational assistant experience is not really addressed in the teacher cost index because they don't really care about I mean, I don't mean this the way it sounds. Our EAs are like our lifeblood, but they don't calculate that in terms of funding for the school. They only calculate teacher costs. So, but we have developed a salary schedule for EAs that is based on their licensure level 1, 2, or 3, as well as how many years of experience they have. And so, people will submit a verification of employment because they were a cashier at a grocery store. That doesn't apply to the position, right? It has to be related experience. So we had defined it a little bit here, and that's how the staffing folks have been reviewing. Again, these things that are not highlighted in a sort of yellow color are set by the teacher cost index, but the ones that are in sort of a yellow color were either like the 130 days was agreed by this board, because you have 190 days for a school year, but we'll count 130 or more as a year of experience. And then you also agreed to count teaching in these areas as experience as well. And then contract adjustments, I mean, this really doesn't even need to be in the policy, but what I think it's helpful because then we can share this with new hires, but all contracts are prepared based on the paperwork on file. So the licensure level, which we can look up, their VOEs, transcripts if they want extra credit for education. And then we base the contract on that. And they have until October 1st to provide any updates or additional documentations. And once they do that, the pay can be adjusted retroactive to the first day of the contract. And the exception is that employees that are hired after the start of school Like if they're hired in September, October, we give them 60 days. Not just October 1st. And then anything after the deadline will not be reflected in their contracts until the following school year, because we have to kind of cap it and close your budget on salaries. So I'm asking for approval or recommendations for any changes on any of this, but really, I guess I wanted you to know that most of this is just required if I didn't highlight it. I guess official is, I should probably also highlight, but.
I motion
So-
to approve with the change that the official transcript is only if it's above a bachelor's or above a master's, if they're wanting to step it, as well as any additional changes that were made to this. And just this in general, since I don't think we have a a vote on just approving this policy too. So I guess there's three motions in one.
So the motion is to approve with the changes as listed here.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You need a second motion for that? I will second that.
Okay, those in favor, Dr. Reyes,
I will agree to approve, although I've not read the cost sharing document from the state, so I'm not knowledgeable about what those requirements are, so I have it up now, I'm reading it.
I was just using that as a reference, but
Yeah.
okay, Gabrielle Brown.
Yes.
Clara Riley,
Yes.
Linnell, yes. Motion passes.
thank you.
Sorry. I don't know if my internet keeps flipping or someone else's does, but occasionally you all freeze. So
I'm not having that problem, so maybe it's your
then it
page.
must be me. I
You
said
could
I
try
was
turning
getting-
your, you probably shouldn't, but maybe if it's really bad, you could turn off your video to help you.
Okay. All right. Were we talking about recruitment of new board members and
Yes. So at the last meeting, sorry, Christine, I'll
thank you.
tap
I
in.
was not there.
Yeah, at our last board meeting, we had discussed starting to at least recruit or look at finding additional board members. So I think that this is potentially just an update on where we're at on that process, because I know we didn't want to vote to have additional seats until we knew that we had some potential seats to fill or people to fill those seats. So I think that this is just an update from any of us if we do have any leads on any of the people that we've reached out to, how we're feeling about that, whether we have enough that we could potentially put forth that we want seats. So I guess that's what this time is.
And I'm going to continue to leave this because of the direction. Like once we have some, I want to be able
Absolutely.
to have it on the agenda. So it's kind of a standing thing until we get them filled.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
great.
have anybody to bring forward. I don't know if any other board members do, but we'll continue to try because I know that that's the will of the board, is to add, I think, 2 more members ideally. And but I am just leaving this as a standing item unless we either give up or get some. But I don't know if anyone else has any proposed folks or folks you'd like me to follow up with.
Okay. Seeing none, hearing none, definitely reach out to the people that you know, the diverse voices too. They don't have to have, education experience. Actually, Jennifer was great because she was healthcare. That was her background. So she was really great to have on the board because you always bring different lenses. So the more diverse that we have on the board, the better. In I think all of our opinions, not just mine. But so yes, reach out to those that you know. I mean, it could be your realtor that you use that you really liked that you think might be interested, those types of things. So it doesn't have to be anybody that has anything, you know, involved in education. They don't have to have education experience is what I'm trying to get at. Okay.
And then the next one was similar. I know that we voted last time about the head admin evaluation process, but I think and maybe it's been done, but key objectives and whatnot, working with Dr. Hull to identify those. I think we agreed to do Excel and some key objectives, but I don't know if that's been finalized, and if it has, then we should probably tear out.
I can talk a little bit about what the key objectives are that we've been working on with our leadership team actually each quarter. I did not put them on that form, but I do have them here. So in my notes.
And
So I
maybe
can tell you that if you'd like, or we can revisit it. I just kind of wanted to share them out. I mean, it's been with our leadership team, we created these, and I have three main goals. One is first building a positive school culture for staff and students that's empathetic and uplifting. That's the first one. And then under that, we have key objectives for each quarter. So, and we work as a team to get those and then reflect on them. The second one is ensuring access to resources and adequate planning time for staff to increase comfort with flavor, design, and implementation and seminar strategies, which is really our model. And so that is another one, which was great to see some feedback from the parents on that. So that's the second one. And then the third one is our proficiency goal, which is 10% growth in ELA and math on core assessments, IMESA, PSAT, SAT, and passing rates. So those are the three main areas. Of course, I have my own goals, like as an admin, but those are our school goals, like our strategic plan, really. Those are our three main goals that we're working toward as a school.
So I guess the question would be in terms of, I don't know how the board wants this to work, but we should have a form that outlines what goals they're going to evaluate you on. And oftentimes that's done between the board chair or chairs and you and the head administrator to finalize those. And it sounds like you've already been working not only on strategic goals for the school, but then also your admin goals. So
Right.
I just wanted to be sure that there was some kind of outline of expectations so that you're, as we've talked about before, that the head administrator knows what they're being evaluated on. And I think last month we voted that it would be an Excel New Mexico evaluation in conjunction with the strategic planning goals.
Okay.
So have you
Yep.
all agreed that those are the goals, the ones that she listed? When you say your admin goals, are those the Excel New Mexico goals or something else?
Yes. So the Excel New Mexico goals are more like the admin goals, like my own, like operational goals. And it's all listed there in the Excel, which I think is really great. We don't have to recreate those things. Of course, there's certain areas that I want to focus on more, but of course I think it gives a well-rounded approach to leadership, school leadership. And then this form, the eval head admin, where it says goal 1, 2, and 3, or objective 1, 2, and 3, that would be the school goals. That's the way I feel it would be best work, because that is ultimately what we want. It's not just my own personal leadership goals, it's the goals of the school and whether we're meeting those or not. So if that
So,
sounds good to the board, I would, that's what I advise we do. But
so I would propose that we draft up the form then. Maybe Dr. Hall, you could draft it as a
Yep.
proposal, and then the
Okay.
board can review and determine if they are comfortable with that. I
Okay.
just feel like the form we have right now is very vague and not based on your own.
Yes. Right.
And we need just to kind of formalize so that the evaluation at the end of the year is not a
Sure.
surprise.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, no, and actually a lot of the things on the first page are on the Excel New Mexico goals. They are like financial management, operations. It's just that it gives a nice rubric, whereas on this form, it's just kind of like comments. It doesn't really say what level is a 4 is excellent, but what does that really mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think I don't know, Chair Riley, Chair Reyes, I don't know how you want to proceed, but I think we want to have a document that shows how you're going to be evaluated is the goal, and then they will fill it in at the end of the year.
Okay.
But we're getting
And like I said, I can fill this out if you want to use this with the Excel, but it's up to you guys if you would rather create the form and then I fill it out, or I can use that.
Does Excel not already have a form, or is it?
It's really online, but they do have a I don't know if I have the link again, but it's the one I shared where it has all of the, like, how do you get the different levels on the rubric? It describes it. So
yeah,
yeah,
it has
we
a
can
good
do
rubric, but I think we could summarize the key points like you were talking about, your goals on here, and then
Yeah.
the school's strategic goals, and then just adapt this form to fit the way the board voted last time. But I think it was still
Right.
very vague. Like, yeah, we're going to use that, but we haven't come up with the tool that's going to be the form that's going to be used
Right.
with the key
Like I can
objectives.
give an example, like on organizational. So we do have school operations as number 2 on our form. On Excel, it does say the levels, innovating, what does it look like? Applying, establishes, and it describes exactly what it is, developing and minimally demonstrating. So it's got 4 levels. Innovating, applying. So maybe we can just add that to this form instead of the excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think we
you
should
know what
do
I
that.
mean? So that it will say exactly, and then used in conjunction with the rubric, then it gives you a little bit of a baseline as to what is innovating. What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it helps
I would.
me know what to aim for as well.
So Chair Reyes, Chair Rayleigh, who I don't know, Christine turned off her video, but I think she's still there. Is it okay if we just leave this on the agenda for next time as well? And Tony, Dr. Hull can prepare the form to match. We can work. I can help you too if you want, but
Yep.
make it match what you voted on. Basically, the Excel New Mexico for part of it, and then the school strategic goals for the other part. And then I think you've met what the board voted on, and you have a form that they can then use at the end of the year with a rubric. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be.
All right.
I agree with that. Yep.
All right.
Mhm.
So, Dr. Reyes, are you still there?
I'm here. I
Yes.
turned my video off to help.
Yeah, sure. So I think you started to say earlier that we're not having the closed session on the
Yeah, we
facility
don't have a
finance.
closed session because we don't have anything that's not public to discuss about purchasing or financing. I think Chair Rayleigh covered that earlier
Yep.
during our financial report. So we don't have anything on part D. So we don't need to go to close, come back to open. I didn't. Do we have a personnel matter to discuss in closed session? I wasn't aware.
Just if you wanted to, that was the mid-year data feedback that we sent out to the board just earlier today, but it was planned to be shared. It was not a public document.
Okay.
The mid-year data feedback for
Yeah.
Dr. Hull.
I think we could do that. Did board members have a chance to scroll through that, or would you? I'm happy to give a synopsis too. I was able to read through that earlier, so
but we should do that in closed session.
Oh, for sure. I just want to make sure do we want to go into closed is more of like the question at this point. Like,
I guess the question is, if you want to review the mid-year data tonight, we need to go into close, or we can
yes,
postpone.
that is correct.
Okay, just making sure, because there are people in the audience that yeah.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I wasn't going to discuss anything specific in open.
No. Member Pahi, or Secretary Pahi, Member Graham, would you all like to go to a closed session to discuss the report that was given earlier today?
I would if
Okay.
the only reason being is that if we table it for next month, I'm not gonna be here for 2 weeks. I will be out of country.
Oh, okay, let's go to closed session then, please.
I have a, I'll motion to go into closed session.
I second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Okay, so let me send you the link. And
I'd love to come in to closed session whenever you'd like.
Absolutely. We will, let me just meet real quick and then we'll invite you in.
Sounds good.
hold on here.
Because I have now experienced being completely shut out of an executive session as an executive director, and it was really horrible. So I will make sure that you get invited.
Hey, Dr. Reyes, were you trying to?
Yeah, I think I jumped too soon. Because it wasn't open. I thought I was lost. Can you give me the link again, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I apologize.
No worries. There you go.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to close the closed session and return to open?
I'll make that motion to return to open session.
We have a second?
It.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And for the record, all that was discussed during our closed session was limited personnel matters, specifically as it relates to the mid-year data feedback of the head administrator. Are there any additional board comments for today, whether that be announcements, updates, or anything else that we would like on the agenda for, what month is it? March? Perfect. And at this time, we do not have any public in attendance, so I'm going to skip over the public comment section. Do we have a motion to adjourn until our next meeting?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Any opposed, I guess?
No,
I've never heard anybody oppose an adjournment.
Opposed to adjournment. And you can stop recording now too, if you have not already.